Thank you, and good afternoon. So welcome to this forum on realizing youth justice by advancing education, employment, and youth empowerment, sponsored by Clasp and our two co-sponsors, as you've heard.
Today we had a forum that was focused on investing in young people of color. We looked at the intersections of the criminal justice system, how they enter the criminal justice system, how we prevent them from entering the criminal justice system, and if they have been incarcerated or have some kind of contact with the juvenile justice or criminal justice system, what supports and investments do they need so that they can realize their full potential?
This landed me into a mentality of crime and criminal acts, which eventually landed me into the penitentiary at the age of 20.
Well, reentry could be quite difficult, and I'm sure each person experiences different things coming home from prison. But one thing I would say is, if you just can believe things is going to change and get better, you can just get through the day, it definitely will. So definitely grasp onto any hope you have around you.
And our goal in this forum was to have a mix of people who come from a criminal justice perspective, from employment, from education, from a broader commitment to youth of color, and we think you're all in the room and on the web, and we thank you.
Despite all of that, I still have to guard against white privilege.
And when it comes to our kids of color, and we see that they are so disproportionately represented in our juvenile justice system, it falls on our shoulders as judges to do something about it, to ask the questions. But if we're going to be asking those questions, which we should, we need to be ready to do something about it, to get our hands dirty and be advocates.
And what brings me here more generally is that I used to be a teacher at a Title I school in Miami-Dade County, and recognizing that my students didn't have access to rights entitled to them under laws like the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act or Title VI of the Civil Rights Act made me want to become the kind of lawyer that does increase access to those rights. And so it's important to have ways to recognize what you can do to fit yourself into this movement for social change and equality.
At the core of Clasp's work is that we believe in solutions. We believe not just in identifying problems, but in fixing them.
Number two is jobs. All right, kids need jobs, and I mean that's what Clasp talks about. That is how you advance education and employment, is you have to give them jobs.
I firmly believe that there's a difference between equality and equity. So equality would be providing the basic essential resources for all people, not recognizing that urban youth, like low-income folks, folks of color, girls of color, experience school and life vastly differently. So for me, it's important that young people, especially girls of color, have equitable resources, recognizing that because of barriers like racism and sexism and classism, we experience the world differently. And so it's really important that at a young age, our schools are providing us with the resources to go above and beyond and excel as women leaders.
Talk is cheap, and that actions speak louder than words. And while the planning and the discussion and the thinking around this work is so key to getting it done.
Our goal is really to work with mayors on the local level, but also bring them together on the national level so that they're working across the country, sharing best practices with each other, but also pushing the federal government to create policies and solutions that help them do the work on the ground, right? So we believe it's a place-based strategy, but we believe that it has to take place on a broader scale so that all of these mayors are talking to each other consistently around what they're doing and how they're going to solve that issue.
We really feel that public policy is important and has a key role to play in ensuring that those investments are realized and ensuring that we not only change the game for young people, but that we create and reimagine new ways of doing business on behalf of young people of color.